tank.co.uk, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do a septic tank survey. So let's say you've got your own septic tank and you're not sure about the condition of your tank. All right, your emptying man may come in once a year and he says, yeah, everything's fine. But how can you inspect your own septic tank to check that it's in good health and it's running properly and it's in a good state or good condition? Now, why would you do this? Well, you may be looking to sell your house. You may even be looking to buy a house with a septic tank, and you may be in the back garden, you've noticed a septic tank lid, and you're just wondering for little points to give you an indication as to the condition of the septic tank that's connected to the house that you're looking to buy. So there's 5 checkpoints here. All right, 5 things that you can look for, telltale signs that will tell you the condition or the health of your septic tank. So let's start with the first one, manhole covers. Now the manhole cover sits on top, directly on top of the septic tank, and it's an access point into there. They're basically for if you need to lift the lid and get it sucked out, well, that's the access point, or you just need to occasionally check if the liquid is draining away as it should do. Then obviously you can just lift the lid and see what's going on inside. So that's the main reason they put a manhole cover on there. Now if the manhole cover is loose, or it's sagging, or it's cracked, or a piece is missing of it, then you need to change it straight away. Why? Because if, like many people, you've got kids or grandkids, you don't want them falling into a septic tank. So that should be your first priority, right? If you're in any doubt, right, get a builder in or a specialist or whatever and get them to put a new manhole cover and frame on for you. Number 2. Okay, so if you want to inspect the inside of your septic tank, right, let me just start by saying it's good if there's 2 people to help you, or you've got a friend to help you. Why do I say that? Well, because in septic tanks you can get a big buildup of methane, and many people have lifted the lid of the septic tank to inspect it. They've been overcome by the methane. It's knocked them out. They've fallen into the tank and they've been found at the bottom dead. Now, I'm not saying that happens in every instance, but the point being is if you've got a friend with you and you've got a harness on you and you're connected to some kind of secure mounting or whatever, or he's actually holding it, then if you are overcome by fumes, then you've got someone there to help you and stop you falling in, or if anything else happens like that. So okay, so you've come to inspect your tank, you take the manhole cover off, you look inside, and you'll should see 2 different types of pipe work. You'll either actually see orange pipe work, so these are called T-pieces, so you'll see some orange T-pieces connect to some orange pipe work, or you'll see it's like clay pipe, right? It's been molded out of clay, and the T-pieces are still intact, then that's a good thing. If it's made from orange pipework and the T-pieces are still there, that's a good thing. Why? Because it's the T-pieces that stop all the poo and solids and fat and grease and debris going into your soakaway. If you can't see any T-pieces inside your septic tank, then that's a bad sign, because it means all the fat and the grease and the solids, right, are going into your soakaway, which is going to block it up really quickly if it hasn't done already. So if you haven't got T-pieces, then get a specialist in, certainly to come and have a look at that and give you maybe a quote for putting some T-pieces on there for you. Number 3, construction materials and age. So if you don't know anything about septic tanks, the materials it's constructed from is a good indication, right, not only to the condition and the health of the tank, but also the age of the tank. Right, so the further you go back to the Victorian era, many of the cesspits, which is another name for a septic tank, and septic tanks, right, were made from brick. So when you look inside, it'll almost look like a wall from a house. There'll be bricks and mortar there, right? So that means it was either built anywhere from the Victorian era to say about the 1930s. If you look inside and you see it's concreted, right, just grey concrete, and maybe they've got that kind of, remember in the 40s and 50s, the pebble dash, that's the word I was looking for. Some septic tanks have got pebble dash inside that have been sprayed onto the concrete. That shows that the septic tank was either made in the 50s or 60s, right? They're very, very strong tanks, they are, and inside the concrete there's like row bars and stuff. So that's a very good indication that you've got a very good, healthy, strong septic tank there. They're almost indestructible, right? Or If it's fiberglass, green fiberglass, white fiberglass, and that's a good indication that the septic tank was put in the late 80s, 90s, or sometime up to our present time here. Pros and cons of the three different materials, right? Okay, if it's bricks and mortar, then like any bricks and mortar, over time it'll need to be rendered. You need to make sure that bricks haven't fallen out. If they have fallen out, it'll weaken the integrity of the structure, which could cause it to collapse. The concrete ones with kind of the pebble dash inside, or just plain concrete, they're normally flipping very, very, very good. I've never seen a septic tank from that era that's ever deteriorated to the point it needs replacing. They got a lifespan of 200-300 years. The modern fiberglass tanks, I would say, are the weakest link in the chain out of all the septic tanks. Fiberglass is you only have to knock it and it cracks or punctures or splits. So if you're looking inside, then just look out for any cracks or puncture marks on the fiberglass tank. All right, so number 4, size of the tank. Okay, so recently the government made new rules and regulations which says the size of the septic tank has to be a specific size to cater for the number of bedrooms that you've got. So for argument's sake, typically a 3,000 litre septic tank will now legally cater for a property that has up to 4 bedrooms, right? Going back to the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s and 40s, most of the septic tanks, right, were only about 1,000 or 2,000 litres in capacity. So that means they're not really, the capacity inside them isn't man enough to cater for modern living. So in a nutshell, they're not legal anymore. And so if you have a site inspection from the Environmental Agency or UK building regs, and they do an inspection of a literage check, how would they do that? Well, they'd have a look at your septic tank emptying receipts. They'd see how much you've had taken out of the tank. If it says on there you've had 1,500 litres taken out, well, that's a good indication that your tank's half the size of what it should be. So they can then put an enforcement order and get you to replace or put a new septic tank in. So if you need to find out how the capacity of your septic tank, then just go and consult your septic tank emptying receipts, right? And last of all, 5, smells, leaks and receipts, right? Okay, so if your tank smells, right, it is now an offence for septic tanks to smell, right? And if a septic tank smells, the Environmental Agency can now get you to repair or replace your septic tank. But if your septic tank smells, it's not the end of the world. Why do septic tanks smell? Well, basically it's down to cleaning products, right? In the modern era that we live in with modern living, we use bleaches, we use washing powder, dishwasher, powder, we use floor cleaner, toilet cleaner, shampoos, and a million and one other things, right? And a lot of this stuff has got skull and crossbones or warning hazards on the back. You know, if we drink them, it would kill us. A septic tank's like a large stomach, right? If you're putting stuff with skull and crossbones into there, it's going to kill the good bacteria, which it does, and that's why a septic tank smells. So if you own a septic tank and it smells, change your brand of cleaning products. This is one that's very, very kind to septic tanks. It's called Ecova. You can find it in any supermarket. Instead of being made from sulfuric acid, it's made from plant-based amino acids. So these cleaning products, from washing up powder, from washing liquid to toilet cleaner, will still kill 99.9% of germs, but they don't kill the good bacteria in your septic tank. So if your tank smells, change your cleaning products and your smells will go within a day. If your tank's leaking, then you've also got a problem. How do you know if your septic tank's leaking? Well, when you lift the lid and put your head in there, the level of the water is always normally 3/4 up the height of the tank, all right? If you look in your septic tank and see it 3/4 full of liquid, no, it doesn't mean that it's not draining away. That's natural, right? Because the height of the liquid is always the height of the outlet pipe. So if you look in there and the liquid inside the tank is only halfway up or 1/3 of the way up, then there's a good chance that your septic tank could be leaking. And when the government inspectors come round, and they will come round to everyone in time, when they lift the lid, they'll also be looking for those kind of indicators as to whether your septic tank is leaking or not. If it's leaking, you've got to get it emptied, get in there and patch it up. which is more trouble and more money than it's worth. So if you suspect your septic tank is leaking, then there's a good chance you may need to replace it. Okay, so what about receipts? Well, that's the last one. If you come to sell your house and you've got a septic tank, or you get an inspector around, you should have a receipt for every year that you've owned the property with the septic tank in. The building regs are stated from the outset, which was 20-30 years ago, that a septic tank needs desludging and emptying once a year. So you should, for however many years you've been there, you should have a septic tank emptying receipt for every year you've been there. You could have 2 or 3 receipts. You know, that what I'm saying is you may get your tank emptied 2-3 times a year. In that case, you'd have 2 or 3 receipts for every year you've been there. But the point being is, by giving the solicitor, the people who are buying your house, I'll say that again. Say someone's buying your house and the solicitor's asking questions about your tank. If you give him the receipts, it will show the people who are buying your house you're a responsible septic tank owner. If the building inspector comes around, give him the receipts, it'll also show him that you're a responsible septic tank owner. So all these things add up, right? And this checklist, right, by keeping on top of these things, could determine whether the environmental agency officers who will come round will condemn your septic tank or allow it to carry on, you know, as it has been, and they won't force you to replace it. So I hope this has helped you. So there you go, how to do a septic tank survey. So look, if you'd like more free help and advice, right, just go to septictank.co.uk. You'll find a whole load of free videos there that are free to do with a whole range of different topics to do with septic tanks and sewage treatment plants. Or if you go to YouTube, right, you can go type in Septic Tank TV into Google. You'll find my Septic Tank TV channel there. You'll see more of me and more free videos like this one. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll be in with a chance to win a £5,000 septic tank and soak-away kit. So listen, thank you very much for watching. You take care, and I'll speak to you soon. For more information, just click the link below this video or visit septictank.co.uk for free help and advice.